Hey, thanks for checking out Nuts and Bolts with Tone, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Acuras and dead batteries. So if you have an Acura, it can be all the way back into the 2000s. You can have multiple different models, Acura TL, MDX, just pretty much it's an Acura. And you get a complaint of, or it's your own car, your battery dies overnight, or if your car sits for a couple days, the battery's dead. If you're a tech and you look in the history, you get a vehicle, for instance, the vehicle that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. I get it, and that customers complaining that it comes in for a dead battery, and customers says every so often, every couple days, the battery's dead, and they have to jump it. So I look back in the history of the car, and I can see battery replacement, check battery, jump battery, charge, check and advise everything is okay. And it's just a constant history of batteries, had to jump start my car, all these different, very similar complaints over quite some time. Well, if you have an Acura and you have this problem, if this is happening to your car, if you're a tech that this is happening to, if you're the one that got it, a very, very common problem is the hands-free link. Now, this is the Bluetooth module that allows your phone to sync to the car. In the older TLs, it was up above where the dome lights are up in the front, and it would have the hands-free stuff there, all the buttons and everything. In the MDX that I'm looking at, it's on the steering wheel. It's many different models, many different types. The buttons are in different places. But one thing is for certain is the module is very, very similar. I just did a 06, I'm going to show you a 06 MDX. And that one is very, very similar. I think it's probably the exact same module that I've done in TLs and all kinds of other Acuras. The only other difference is this is the first time I've ever had it where the module was up in a certain spot, but the controls were somewhere else. All the other ones I've ever done were cars, they were Acura TLs or something like that. And the whole unit was a big replacement, and it would go around the lights. So you'd have to pop the lights out and then take the screws out. And then that whole assembly would come down, and that would be the replacement. In this one here, you take out, I'll show you, you're going to take out the light assembly, and then the module is up inside of a plastic trim piece. So it's a little bit different, but same green connector, and I'm pretty sure it's the same module. So if you ever get this, and let's say you get it and you have an Acura and it actually has a draw and you're testing it and you caught it with a draw, don't pull fuses, don't do any of that stuff. Go right to the hands-free module and disconnect it, and then recheck your draw. So I've caught 3 different Acuras during a draw that they had a draw at the moment, and I disconnected the hands-free link and the draw went away. I've done several others just as this is most likely the cause, the one I'm going to show you how to do in just a few minutes here. That one, it didn't have a draw. I jumped it, everything was fine. So we disconnected it. The customer didn't want to fix it. They don't want to fix it, but we just disconnect it just to eliminate that. So 99% of the time, if you have an Acura and you have a draw, intermittent dead battery, things like that, it's the hands-free link. It's very, very common. There's bulletins on it. There's Identifix articles. It's all over the internet. It's very, very common. I've been dealing with it for a long time. And it's funny because this is why I'm talking to you about it, is because I got this car, and when I look back at the history and I see just all the history of batteries and check and advise and all this stuff, clearly somebody along the way didn't realize that the hands-free link in these cars causes a problem, because no one ever recommended it, no one ever tested it, no one ever, there was never a mention of it. So we disconnected it. Customer shouldn't have any more problems with it. Now, when you test for a draw, there are multiple ways that you can do it. One way is you can take an amp clamp. The way I like to do it is I just take an amp clamp and I put it over the negative battery cable, and I test it that way. and I'm on a digital meter, and you're watching for the draw to go away. So you can do a couple different things. One way I've had, and every way does not work in every car. There's always downfalls to doing everything along the way. Now, you can voltage drop across fuses. So one way is if you have a heavy draw, you can use a thermal imager, and you can go over the fuse panel, over the fuse block, and look for one of the fuses to be a little hotter than the rest. Okay, that one's drawing, you can do a voltage drop, you can pull that fuse, whatever. So that's one way. I've never actually got that way to work. All the ones that when I've had access to a thermal imager, all the ones that I had didn't show any heat signature, so it didn't work. Voltage dropping across fuses actually works as well. I had a Ford truck that was voltage, the radio was drawing, and when I got to the radio fuse, the fuse had a voltage drop. And Power Probe, on the Power Probe website, they actually have a chart that you can download and print. I have it in my box, and it'll show you what, if you have a mini fuse, the different size fuses and the different amperages of the fuses. And each fuse, it will tell you if your voltage drop is this is how much current is being drawn through the fuse. It's actually a pretty good thing. But I pretty much look for any voltage to be dropping across a fuse. If it has any voltage going across the fuse, then it's obviously pulling current. So that's one way to do it. I had an F-150 that worked on. I just recently had a Subaru that was weird. So you got the amp clamp, you can do it that way, and you're looking for a draw. And then what you do is you can pull fuses. So let's say you use your thermal imager or your voltage drop test, and you find a fuse, you find a circuit that's drawing. Well, now with your amp clamp, pull the fuse and see if the draw goes away. So that is one, that's like many ways to test it all in one. The other way I don't like to do it is where you actually disconnect the battery cable and you put something in between, because when you do that, you disrupt the system and then everything wakes back up. And so it just takes a lot longer because now you got to wait for everything. Luckily, I had a Subaru that was doing it, and it was a 2000, so it doesn't have much, there's nothing really awake in that car. And so it didn't really matter. I could disconnect it and it was just the same. But newer cars, you got to wait 30, 45 minutes to an hour for everything, all the modules to go to sleep. So I don't recommend that unless you absolutely have to. But those are some ways to test it. Now let me get in here and let me show you this Acura. Let me show you where the model is, where the hands-free link on this MDX is, and how to replace it. Let's go check it out. Okay, so this is a 06 Acura MDX. And to get to the hands-free module, you're gonna go right in here and you're gonna pop that loose. It just pops out and then it just slides out like that. It sits in a channel and it slides out. So up here we have see if I can get this to stay. Okay, so right here we have the connector for the sunroof switch right there. You're going to undo that connector. Now this is an 06 MDX, so all the repair procedures are going to be different, but every one I've ever done, it's been up in here. So the MDX is a little bit different than the older style. So you're going to pop this clip out and you're going to have this connector here, and you're going to take this connector off. This is for the home link. This is for your garage door opener right there. All right, and then after you do that, you're going to have 4 8mm bolts. One right there, one right there, and then one there, and one there. So you're going to take those out, and this plastic tray is going to pop out, and right here is your hands-free link in this 06 MDX.
right there. Now that green connector is normally plugged in to the right side of the hands-free link. I've already disconnected it. The customer doesn't want to replace it. They just want their draw to be gone. So there's the connector plugged up there, just sitting up there. So once you take this off, you can access this this home link, this hands-free link up here. And that's how you get to it. And if you want to replace it, all you do is pull this down, take the module out, put a new module in, and plug the new one in and put this back up. And then let's see if I can do this one-handed. I cheated, I did it two-handed. So now we're just gonna pop that back in like that, and then this is gonna pop up in there. All right. So the connector here for this home link is also for your map lights. It's for this whole thing here minus the sunroof switch. So that's how you pop it in. Now, older Acuras, Acura TLs and things like that, those are going to be a little bit different because all the controls are in here. So when you take this down, it'll go around the lights and you'll pull it down and it has the same module inside, same connector, same green connector, same module. They've been using it for a really long time. This one's just a little bit different because it doesn't tell you that the hands-free is up here. Your hands-free is actually here. And on different Acura models, things are a little bit different, but it's all the same. So that is how you get to it on this 06 MDX, to replace that hands-free link or to just disable it.
All right, now that I showed you where this module is and how to replace it, kind of talked about how to test for these problems in many different cars. I hope that if you have an Acura and you've been having this issue and you didn't know what the cause was, now you know where to go. Maybe you're about to take it to the shop. You don't need to take it to the shop. Now you can do it yourself. Disconnect it, see if it goes away. Also, if you're a tech that's been dealing with this and you didn't know about this, well, hey, here you go. You're going to get an Acura. It's going to come in your bay. It's going to be very similar issues as to what we're talking about here. And you're going to know where to go. And you're going to nail it. It's going to be first. That's going to be the problem. So thanks for checking out the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. You get notified of all my future content, which you're definitely going to want to see. Also, check me out on Instagram at Nuts and Bolts with Tone for my daily life as a mechanic. See all kinds of cool stuff. Show you tools, as soon as I get them. And yeah, check out my merchandise store. You can get a coffee cup, get a t-shirt, support Nuts and Bolts with Tone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.